People literally voted against an Iran war when they voted for Trump. They voted against an Iran war. Now with Biden, and Trump said this during the campaign, I was standing right next to him, voting for Biden or Kamala or whoever, whatever zombie they put in to represent the interests of the ruling class, that means a war in the Middle East, endless wars in the Middle East. People voted for Trump so this wouldn't happen. They voted for him, they got it anyway. They got exactly what they would have gotten under Biden or under Chuck Schumer or pick your Democratic leader. It's the same thing.
Tucker, aren't we the only country allowed to make preemptive strikes? Who the hell does Iran think it is?
That's it. Actually, I know you're sort of kidding, but I agree with that. I think we are the only country
I'm not
with the
kidding
moral
at
authority.
all.
Rather, we are. That's absolutely right. The only country with the moral authority sufficient to do that. The only country that doesn't seek hegemony in the world. I do think, I'm sure I'm the lone voice in saying this, I think Iran deserves to be annihilated. I think they're lunatics. I think they're evil. I do think we ought to assess what would happen to the price of energy were we to do that. I don't think that's a small factor. It could tank our economy.
Tucker Carlson, I never understood what MAGA was. No, I never believed in MAGA. If anybody's still hanging on to this idea that Tucker Carlson is anything other than a complete and total fraud, this is your wake-up call right here.
I wonder, Tucker, where this leaves the future of the MAGA movement.
I mean, the future of the MAGA. Well, that's over. There's no future of the MAGA movement. Obviously, we're done.
This war caused the end.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, what is the MAGA movement? Trump has defined it as whatever he wants. Well, it's not a movement. That's a tick. That's a preference.
It's literally the greatest political movement of our lifetime. It's literally that. We've never seen anything like this in our lifetime.
It's like, what do I feel like having for breakfast this morning? Well, today it's, the pancake movement. It'll be Eggs Benedict movement tomorrow. Like, it's not a movement. It's just like it's a desire.
But you believed in it.
Well, I never understood what it was. No, I never believed in MAGA. I believe in making America great again. I certainly believe in its literal definition, but its operational definition was never clear. What I believe in is putting your country first. If you're leading your country, of course, its concerns are at the top of your list of concerns, in the same way that your children's concerns are more important, your children's needs are more important to you as a parent than your neighbor's kids'
That's wild.
concerns.
Absolutely
You're
wild. This guy got up on stage multiple times at MAGA rallies, at Turning Point events. He was at the RNC. He was the keynote speaker at many of these events. Everybody was cheering for him, praising him. And for him to do this is just wild.
Nature. Again, that's just natural. There's nothing crazy or fascistic about that. In fact, any other form of government is crazy and fascistic. Every other form of government is tyranny. That's
what happened to him. Seriously, again, I will repeat what I've said. Like, all I can do is apply a common sense approach to this. Like, I try to do everything. I don't have the answer as to what happened to him, but what I do have is common sense, and common sense tells you that you just don't flip like this without a very, very, very lucrative motivating factor. And so it's clear to me, with an educated guess, that he is being funded big time by someone who wants to divide America and someone who wants to drive a wedge in between things, for sure. And on top of that, I'm not totally willing to discredit that he may be setting up for a 2028 presidential run. Maybe. That might be what he's doing.
It's the only legitimate form of government where the leaders put, not to the exclusion of everyone else's concerns, like you don't have to hate your neighbor's kids to love your own. You can love all kids. But if it comes down to it, you put your kids first because you're their parent. And that same worldview has to be the way the U.S. government operates in order to be legitimate. And that's what America First means. And so I will never stop believing that. I think every other American believes that too. The phrase America First scares people because it's like Nazi or something, but like in real life, there's no other way to run a government. And I still believe that. And this war was the most obvious betrayal of that. We didn't go to war to protect our own interests. We went to war to serve Israel's interests. They've said that out loud. So this is not a conspiracy theory. That's contemptible. That's wrong.
So he had that one, but he also has this clip right here that's going around where Tucker Carlson tells Trump, "Shut up, bitch. I don't take you seriously, as he calls him weak in this new interview. What else do you need?
So Trump saw that, and he's again not stupid, and he saw this. He's like, ooh, and he knew right away that this was a massive mistake, and that we were really exposed. We could get hurt doing this, and there was no obvious military solution. I mean, he knew that, and so he tried to posture his way out of it. We're going to eliminate you, and after like the 400th Truth Social, they reached the same conclusion that everyone on the globe reached, which is this guy's not strong, he's weak. Strong people don't brag about how strong they are. They just punch you in the face and end the conversation. And my father, who was a boxer at one point, would always say there are two types of guys, and you got to be careful of the second. They're the first who are like, what'd you say? What'd you say? Say it again. Push you in the chest. You don't have to worry about those guys. And then the guys don't say anything, just knock you cold, hit you in the face with a beer bottle and keep hitting you.
Yeah, those people are in prison, Tucker.
Those are the people you need to be afraid of. They're not the posturers. They're not the braggarts.
So emotionally unstable people is Tucker saying, because Trump is emotionally stable, that's a reason that you shouldn't fear him.
And I think everyone knows that intuitively. And Trump is very much, what'd you say? Shut up, bitch. I don't take you seriously.
This is the same Tucker Carlson who said that he loves Donald Trump. This is after Trump criticized him. This is the same Tucker Carlson who says, I love Donald Trump and I'll always love him as a human. Now he says this. It's crazy. Now he also appeared on with Alex Jones. Let's hear this clip right here.
I mean, as usual, I don't have any kind of plan or grand strategy. I've never had that in my life. I was asked a question and I answered it directly. And the question was, can you support this? And of course not. I mean, I can't support the Republican Party in its current incarnation for the same reason I can't support the Democratic Party in its current incarnation. They have the same views. They have the same views on the big questions, on the economy and foreign policy. Trump, over the past year, has been essentially indistinguishable from Chuck Schumer on the big issues. And again, just to restate, the big issues are how do you manage the economy, how you decide who gets the wealth, who doesn't, and how do you manage your foreign policy? Where do you engage? What are your priorities? And on those questions, which are the questions of government, with all respect to the trans debate, okay, those are the big questions, they're in lockstep. And I didn't want that to be true. I thought that Trump was an option to that. I thought he was a third option. I supported Trump in 2024, not because he's a Republican, but because he was not a traditional Republican. That's the whole point. And that's why everyone I know supported Trump, not because he had identical views to the Republican Party leadership. He had very different views. And I thought those were the views that were going to be enacted into law and policy, but they weren't. And instead, the views of Mike Johnson, a person for whom I have no respect at all, those views became dominant, the Mark Levin views. So why would I support that? I would never support that. Why? Because I'm an American and I want what's best for my country. It's that simple. I'm not being paid by anybody and I'm not being told what to say. I've got a bunch of kids. I want the country to continue in a recognizable way. And I totally agree.
I could flip it on Tucker. The people that say they're not being paid by anyone, why do you need to even address it? Why would you say I'm not being paid by anyone? When people accuse me of being paid, I say, fuck yeah, I'm being paid. It's clearly not. So yeah, I'm working for Israel. I'm working for, Russia. I'm working for Qatar. Whoever's willing to give me money, fucking pay it right now. Yeah. You kidding me? You think I'm doing this shit for free? You think I'm sitting here getting roasted and memed all day long for free? You damn right. I'm getting paid, motherfuckers. So I'll just flip your logic, Tucker, right back on you. Okay? I'll flip your logic. You say that, oh, well, anyone who says that they're going to do something doesn't mean they're really going to do it. In fact, I saw this from 8 months ago, Tucker Carlson. I haven't even listened to it, but the title of this video is "They're Plotting to Betray Trump 8 months ago."
people who work for Trump hate Trump. And some of them said it out loud. Here's one of Trump's new best friends back in 2016 explaining how much he hates Donald Trump.
Oh man, so they're going to turn on Trump. That's what Tucker said 8 months ago.
I will not be voting for Donald Trump, and he can thank Roger Stone. And if they piss me off one more time, I'm going to urge millions and millions of you not to vote for him either.
Why were they so mad at Trump? That was a few weeks after Trump announced at that primary debate in South Carolina that the Iraq War was a mistake. Whoa, that was too far. Because any politician who will acknowledge that the Iraq War was a mistake probably won't get on board with the future Iraq War. And that's all
they're plotting to betray Trump, says Tucker Carlson. That is an amazing title right there. And even like right here, here's Tucker.
The lightning rod. He was no longer the berserker of American politics. Loads of people on our platform absolutely love Donald Trump. They see him as the solution to America's problems. They see him as the great swamp drainer. It seems you have occupied varying positions on Trump at various times. Where are you on Donald Trump now? And particularly perhaps how that relates to the emergence of radical anti-establishment figures within the Democrat Party, notably RFK.
Where am I on Trump now? Well, I love Trump.
Oh, wow.
Personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I made a huge mistake last November in getting involved in American.
So he loves Trump. He loves Trump. Now Trump is just somebody that's a coward and weak, and he should get out of his face and should not talk to him at all. Like this guy, man, it's crazy how Tucker is just willing to say whatever he wants. It's amazing. Like right here at the...
I watched the video of what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania about 50 times. I think I was one of about 8 billion people around the world who watched it. And the more I watched it, the more it struck me that everything was different after that moment. Everything. And this convention is different. The nation is different. The world is different. Donald Trump is different. When he stood up after being shot in the face, bloodied, and put his hand up, I thought at that moment, that was a transformation. This was no longer a man. Well, I think it was divine intervention, but the effect that it had on Donald Trump, he was no longer just a political party's nominee or a former president or a future president. This was the leader of a nation.
It's really amazing to go back and listen. Also, we have this clip right here of Tucker where he apologizes for saying bad things about Islam.
Are delusional for a bunch of different reasons. I don't think that's an Israeli-specific phenomenon. We felt a little bit of that after 9/11 when people bought the lies about there were many lies about 9/11, but the net result was to convince Americans that they were under siege from global Islam, that there were a billion people trying to kill them. I felt this way myself. And many times I said on television, the problem is Islam. The problem is Muslims. Like they all want to kill us. They're all crazy. They're all in this lunatic suicide cult created by Muhammad in the 7th century. And I believe that. I was hysterical. I believed that. No, that's not true. Nothing about that is true. But I believed it. So it's a little harder for me to judge Israelis when they're like every Arab, Christian or Muslim, it doesn't matter. Arabs are by definition committed to the extermination of Jews, and we must kill them before they kill us. Like they believe that.
Dude, Tucker is all over the fucking place. Holy crap, this dude.
So I'm pretty sure that it's not about the Republican Party moving away from Tucker Carlson. I'm pretty sure it's about Tucker Carlson moving away from the Republican Party. Again, he has spent the last few months since Charlie Kirk's murder fulminating over whether, in fact, the nefarious Jews were involved, the hummus eaters, and having on every anti-Semite he can find on his program, and theorizing that the president of the United States is run by Israel, and also suggesting, of course, that some of the world's most extraordinary leftists, like Graham Plattner and Zohar Mamdani, are all totally fine. So I'm not sure where the space is for you inside the Republican Party. So I guess I'm glad that he is finally just giving up the ghost rather than pretending that the entire Republican Party must move over to his side. So
I mean, again, do you guys, I'm curious with my theory about Tucker potentially positioning himself for a 2028 run. What do you guys think about that?